Hey everybody, it is Dak here from the Ed Boys, and welcome back to another episode of the Runescape Road to 120 Invention. Starting today's episode, I'm going to be selling about 5 mil worth of Elder Logs. I did go out and get my Dragon Hatchet back up to level 10, just like we ended last episode on, just so I could siphon another near 200,000 XP out of it. Kind of nice to get that 200k XP because it almost brings us to 1 million overall Invention XP, but the bigger thing here is that it gets us to level 40. To be more specific, it gets us to level 41, but we really only need 40 to do what I wanted to do in this episode, and that is move on to our next tech tree. We have 2 tech trees to choose from, the Goblin and the Dwarven tech tree. I will likely be choosing the Dwarven tech tree. You'll see that in this episode, but before that, I do have some disassembling to do. My bank was getting ridiculously full. If anyone here plays RS3 and Old School, or at least knows some about each game, Old School has a much larger bank. I currently have only 468 bank spots. Now I can go buy more bank spots. That is a thing in RS3. I'm not going to be doing it. I don't plan on doing it. Is it something you get with loyalty points? I don't believe it is. It's only those rune coins, and you have to actually buy rune coins, but I have a ton of loyalty points if we could do it there. Either way, I was basically full in my bank, so I needed to clear some stuff out. I have a lot of untradables, a lot of things from the treasure chests and the Squeal of Fortune, or whatever it was, and when I got them, I was pretty excited, because they're not really rare items, but items that you can't get any other way. And now that I have them, they're just filling up my bank. I have a ton of them, and I really don't need them. They don't do anything. So I did dump a lot of those, but then other than that, I tried to find as much junk as I could in the bank and decided I would go ahead and disassemble all of that. It gives you a little bit of Invention XP, which is what we are here for. Plus, you can get some parts from it too. You don't get a lot of parts from just getting junk out of your bank, but you get some decent parts, some decent components, and we can always use those because most of the time that I want to go build something cool, I have to disassemble first because I don't quite have the right parts. So it doesn't hurt to do a little bit of extra disassembling. I'm just about to be finished up with this disassembling here, and then I head over to Keldagrim, where we get to talk to, forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, Drorkar, who is the Invention dwarf, I guess. He's the guy that you get to talk to unlock the Dwarven tech tree. He teaches us how Steam works and technology. He really doesn't teach us anything. It's just a cutscene that fades away, and I guess he speaks to our player about it. But the reason that I picked the Dwarf tech tree over the Goblin, for one, I can go choose the Goblin once I'm level 60, I believe it is. So you eventually get both. It's not like I'm missing out on anything. But the reason that I picked the Dwarven tech tree first was because it's really more focused on things like mining and smithing. I would say fishing is my favorite of the gathering skills, but for mining and smithing, it's probably important that we go ahead and get some of that out of the way for gathering resources, just because things like rune armor or even adamant armor and weapons are decent for disassembling. They give not bad XP, but they're also pretty good for parts and components. So if I'm going to go out and gather resources, mining coal and rune ore is probably a little bit more effective than fishing for rocktail or chopping elders, though chopping elders is not bad, and I'm going to be chopping a lot of elders with that dragon axe, eventually upgrading to a crystal axe and whatnot. But the fact that we can get some Invention XP from that, and it's AFK, I'll be doing that fair amount in between episodes. Our next task is to complete some Invention tasks. We only have one to do at the moment, but if I complete this task, I do get some Dwarven currency. If I were to complete a Goblin task, I would get Goblin currency, but I'm currently working on the Dwarven tech tree, so we are doing Dwarven tasks. Our current Dwarven task is to get 9 evasive components. I don't have any evasive components, so I went to the Grand Exchange, looked up some of the better items to buy. It's mostly range armor that I'm looking for. Eventually I got some hard leather bodies, and that's the main one here. I went to buy a few different things, but this was the one that finally bought. It's a little bit expensive, and I'm probably going to get more than 9 components, but that's good. I'd like a bunch of evasive components. If I get the task again for more evasive components, I'll have them. Plus, I'd rather not buy like 500 of these bodies and only get like 6 of them. I just want to buy them once, disassemble them, and then have enough components to complete the task. It was kind of tedious, though. Just 1,000 of these bodies really didn't give that many evasive components, but it gave enough. I probably would go collect these bodies myself, or the leather or something. Maybe not, but it was like 250k, which isn't horrible, but I really don't need to drop 250k on every single Invention task. It's really not going to be worth it in the long run, I think. I really don't know yet, but I noticed you're not going to get a ton of currency from it. It's probably like 5 or 6 tasks I'll be able to unlock 2 or 3 items in the Dwarven tech tree. So I really don't want to have to spend like 500k to a mil on each unlock in the tech tree, but if that's how it adds up, it's not the worst thing in the world, especially if I'm chopping Elder Logs to get some extra Invention XP. 5 mil for each time I can siphon out a level 10 axe is really not too bad. It's not amazing either, but it'll add up pretty quickly if I continuously do it, and we'll get some bomb Invention XP for it. The big thing about disassembling these bodies, though, is I actually landed on 1 million Invention XP, which is not phenomenal because we need a lot more to get to 120 Invention, but it is our first 1 mil XP, so it is a milestone nonetheless. Hopefully our next mil XP and every mil XP after that will continue to get quicker, or else we have a very long journey in front of us. But the fact that I hit 1 mil XP, we're starting to actually get some real Invention XP here. We're actually training it a little bit quicker. In the earlier episodes, we were getting XP, but it was more learning about what the hell's going on and trying to get a strategy for getting 99. If you guys know me at all, I don't like to take the conventional path to 99. I like to do it a mix of going really quick and a mix of enjoying it along the way. That's just my style. I figure if you're going to play the game, why not enjoy it? If I'm not enjoying this game, why am I playing it? You see how I did that there? Sorry guys, I will move on now. We are going to be just about done disassembling these bodies in a minute. Then we'll go ahead and head over to Keldagrim to turn in this task, turn in the 9 evasive components to complete the task. It really doesn't give much though. We didn't get any Invention XP and just 15 Dwarven currency for it, but it's not terrible. When I get another task, I'll go ahead and complete that up, get a little bit more Dwarven currency. The first thing we unlock, unfortunately, really is at level 50, so I gotta get level 50 Invention before that really matters that much anyway. Next thing we're going to be doing, though, I do have a ton of items to discover here, as you can see, so I'm going to go ahead and discover all these items. There's really nothing here that stands out that I really need at the moment. There are some helpful things like the junk reduction, junk chance reduction. You know what? I'm not even going to try to say it anymore because I failed at it twice. But guys, it's just less of a chance to get junk, and then we have a maximum charge upgrade, and we can discover some charge drain reduction, which just means when I'm training these items that are getting us XP and Invention, they just don't use as much of a charge, which we haven't had to actually recharge our divine charges because I haven't trained that many items, but that is something I'm going to have to start thinking about soon, so it's a good thing that I sat down and finally did this. We're also discovering nightly components, which I will not be using for a while, but again, it's good to get out of the way. And the fishing rod-o-matic. That is something that I'm a little bit more likely to use in the near future, but it won't be the very near future. I don't have amazing plans for that quite yet, but it is kind of a cool item, so we will check it out eventually. We have to. It's a road to 120 Invention. I better hit just about everything on the Invention scale. This is going to be the last thing that we do during this episode, though we have a couple minutes left. You'll notice that I do take the time this time to get the perfect optimization on each of these items, even the ones that only take 150 inspiration, because I'm getting a little bit better at it, so it's really not that bad. But it's kind of big on these bigger items because they take 750 inspiration, and even at one point one of them took 850 or 900 inspiration, I believe. But either way, if you don't get perfect optimization, that means you're spending like 12 or 1300 inspiration on each item. And I have a lot of inspiration, and I keep getting more inspiration, but it's starting to cost a lot, so I figure it's more worth my time to try to save the 50% inspiration that you can save between a perfect and a good optimization. It's really not that bad. You can just kind of notice as you're switching items around, like when certain items are in certain places, that you seem to get more good and great ratings, and it doesn't take that much testing and trial and error to eventually get a perfect optimization. And again, why not? I mean, I'm trying to save some inspiration points here so eventually I can discover the new, lot cooler stuff than we're discovering now, though we're discovering some pretty helpful things right now. I definitely am glad that I sat down and took the time to finish all of these things, and this is the first time we've used a workbench outside of the Invention Guild in Falador. We're actually in Keldagrim right now, and we'll move on to some other benches soon. It's not like it's that exciting, but it changes up the scenery a little bit. I'm sure my avatar is a little happy with me instead of having to sit in that Invention Guild all day. I spend too much time in there, I'll tell you that right now. Guys, we are getting close to wrapping up today's episode. We did have a pretty good one today. We hit a few milestones. The big thing really is we got that 40 invention, 41 invention if you want to be specific, but we unlocked the Dwarven tech tree. We have a few new items that I am looking forward to getting, but we will be talking about that in future episodes. The plan from here on out clearly is to just continue getting our invention up and testing some new items. We're going to be going out and doing some more combat soon to train a couple of weapons, a little bit of armor, and just go ahead and pound out some invention XP. So thank you everybody for watching today's episode. I do really hope you enjoyed. I know that I did, and I will see you next time. Thank you everyone for watching today's video. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to click on that like button and tell us what you enjoyed about it. If you're looking for some more RuneScape videos like this one, then be sure to join the cul-de-sac by subscribing for more. We will see you next time.